Hi, I am back, and today I am going to talk about something that most of us go through. If we are honest, all of us go through. But the thing is, we usually don't like airing out our points of weakness. We don't like airing out the places where we fall short. We like sharing the high, the achievements, where we're doing well, where we have aced things. That's when we want to share and shout at the rooftops when we are on a high and we are literally accelerating and achieving what we want to achieve. But the reality is that on that quest for achievement and success and satisfaction, there are moments of imposter syndrome. There are moments of doubt, there are moments of lack of confidence, there are moments of low self-esteem. And this particular topic is actually inspired by a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, who recently sent me a message. He was responding to something I had posted, and using that caveat, he was able to actually ask me a question. And this question is something that I actually face a lot as well. And I would just like to read what he asked me. And before I read what he asked me, most of the topics I talk about are those that are dear to me, are epiphanies that I have as I'm going through my life, on designing my life intently, and whatever comes to my heart is what I actually share about. But I believe that if you have a question or if you have something that you would like me to talk about, I am going to leave a link in the description box, and it's a form. You'll be able to submit questions or particular topics that you'd like me to air out my perceptions and what I have experienced, how I understand them, and how I would deal with it if I was in your shoes. So this was the question that this dear friend of mine asked me. He said, "One of the things I actually love about you is the quest towards continuous self-development." He says, "I think some days I am plagued with imposter syndrome. How could I overcome it? Do you mind sharing with me some strategies?" And I told him, I get that too. Let me think about it and get back to you. And when he sent this message, I was in the middle of something, so I did not want to just respond to him haphazardly. So firstly, I'm going to play for you the audio of what I sent to him. So this is what I sent to a close friend of mine, and this is what I would tell you if you had sent me this message. I usually watch things on like 2x speed. So let me first change the speed of that. Should I just insert it in the video, or I should play it? But okay, let me first play it now. If it didn't sound good, then I will insert the audio as well.
When you sent this message, I was actually in a call with somebody, and I really wanted to give it time before I actually answer you. And I just want to tell you that most people that you see, that you look up to, that you admire, that you may even think are better than you, also go through imposter syndrome. They go through periods of feeling inadequate, of self-doubt, of low self-regard. And I myself go through that actually very many times. Sometimes are better than others. But I have realized that most of the time, that feeling comes in when there is a challenge that you feel you do not deserve, or you may not have the skills and competence to confidently pursue, and that brings about feelings of self-doubt, self-loathing, and low self-regard, because you're like, I may fail at this thing, especially if that thing requires a bit of public awareness, a bit of people around you knowing what you're doing, and not just yourself alone. For things that you're doing in secret that don't require other people's gazes and other people's perspectives, the feeling doesn't come out as much. And the first thing that I want to tell you is, I want to, first of all, remove the power and authority that the self-doubt has over you, as though for you, you are the exception and other people aren't going through self-doubt. That's a lie. We all go through it. And what makes me at times face the self-doubt head on is because I know it's only coming because there's a challenge I have to overcome. And it's almost like it's a self-preservation. Sometimes it's a self-preservation thought that tries to keep you at the level you're in, to try and stop you from potentially risking and putting yourself at the mercy of a potential failure, a potential public embarrassment, a potential public awareness of your weaknesses, and that is where the low self-doubt comes in. Now what I do is I tell myself, okay, so what if people know I failed? So what if I don't get this thing? So what if so what? I would rather be an imposter, but I'm fixing my neck there, and eventually I will deserve to be there, than waiting to deserve to be there. The only way you can deserve to be in a place is if you constantly pursue and improve and grow and make yourself eligible to get there. And very many times, that eligibility and confidence comes when you're actually on the journey towards that thing. So feelings of imposter syndrome will never go away completely. They'll keep cropping up, especially as a new, bigger challenge comes up. They keep cropping up. Like even now, I remember when I joined campus, I knew, okay, when I finish campus, I'll be okay. I finished the first degree. I still had self-doubt. I still had the imposter syndrome. I was like, okay, apply for masters. I'm sure when I'm done, I'll be okay. I'm done. I now have bigger challenges. And now there's a new kind of imposter syndrome coming onto me, because now there's another challenge, another space which I haven't experienced before. The things I'm doing now, the things I'm starting to do, I haven't done before. So even the chance of failure is even higher, because now even more people know you, more people are actually watching to see if you succeed or not. So even now, that's another version of imposter syndrome. I've realized that the more you go up, there's always going to be some version of imposter syndrome. And you must normalize that feeling, face it head on, and then blow through that fog and see clearly and keep your eyes on the ball and on the target.
Wow. So we really need to understand what imposter syndrome is and the various ways it manifests in our lives, the timing within which it manifests, what triggers its appearance in our lives, and how have we dealt with it in the past, and how do we intend to deal with it in the future when it emerges. Now, imposter syndrome is that constant inability to believe that one, the successes and achievements that you have presently were achieved meritocratically, were self-deserved, were warranted, and also the feeling of lack of confidence, feeling like a fraud, feeling like you don't deserve to be where you are presently, and therefore you don't deserve to even go to where you expect to go. And that constant feeling of I am not enough, of will I even make it, of am I even worth it? I'm an imposter. I shouldn't even be here. I don't deserve to be here. How don't these people see that I'm a fraud? Why can't everybody see what I'm feeling? Oh, maybe they can see and they're just waiting for me to maybe make a mistake, and then they would pounce on me. And this is such a psychotic and an anxious feeling that can actually cripple our work, that can actually limit our progression and exponentially deter us from the actual path that we ought to take. So when you are aware of how debilitating imposter syndrome is, of how literally our mind is our greatest resource, but it's also the most effective weapon against us. Honestly, the world can hurt you, but you can always create shields and reactions that can protect you from the world. But your own mind, your own thoughts, you can't run away from your own thoughts. You can't run away from your own mind. And very many times, the people around you can't protect you from yourself. So the first thing is to arm yourself with information, to arm yourself with knowledge, to first and foremost identify, where is this feeling coming from? What is this feeling anyway? Why do I feel like this? Because most of the time, by the way, you don't even know what you're feeling. You don't know that what I'm feeling is imposter syndrome, and there's actually a clinical definition for it. You actually think that maybe you're the exception. Everybody else is going on with their own lives, feeling adequate, feeling like they deserve to be where they are, and it's only me who is feeling inadequate. It's only me who feels like a fraud. But when you do your research and when you hear from others, you actually get to know that at various moments of people's lives, they actually go through imposter syndrome. Now the difference is, The difference is that time within which these different people stay within that state of imposter syndrome varies. For some, it's 1 minute, and they're like, no, I deserve to be here. I am Mariam. Why not me? If her or if him, why not me? Or some people can actually check their own mind. They can actually, like, I know when my mind is playing games with me, I'd be like, oh please. Like, I negotiate with myself. I speak to myself. I watch my own videos and hear what younger Mariam had to say. I read some of the different journals I have read in the past. I look at my younger achievements and I am amazed, and I at times present me dissociates from past me, and I'm like, wait, if Mariam in P6 with a thick stammer, with no speech, was able to go on an assembly with thousands of students and campaign to be head girl, if I did that at 10, I was brave enough and I was scared. I was shaking and I did that. Surely, now you're 24 and you're saying you can't go and give a speech to a boardroom of directors? Really? That was harder, by the way. What you did back then was harder. This is a piece of cake. So at times I talk to myself like that, So that we all go through it. I go through it. But the difference is, what steps and systems have you put in place to help you overcome that feeling? So now, the assignment for you is to identify how imposter syndrome manifests in your life, the different versions within which it creatively tries to surprise you and get you in an unexpected way. And when you identify it and you can define it and recognize it, then you start designing particular steps, particular messages, particular mantras, particular actions, and even people who can speak life to you to alleviate that feeling. And you keep doing it with each time it emerges. The more you do it, the more you'll get better at it, and the further in between those feelings will appear. And over time, you will realize that, oh, I haven't really felt this way in a long time. You'll even be more excited for challenges. You'll look forward to bigger problems, bigger spaces, bigger opportunities. Now, imposter syndrome, and let's say feelings of, let's say, fright or anxiety. Let's say you're going to give a speech and you kind of get that. You get frightened or you feel anxious. That is different. Like, let's say maybe you're designing a particular program or a particular app and you're challenged and you're finding difficulty and you're anxious. No, that is not what imposter syndrome is. This is literally a crippling, nagging, weakening feeling that can literally diminish and eliminate your drive, your motivation, your creativity, your innovativeness, and even just your ability to advocate for yourself, because you don't even believe you deserve what you have now. So I urge you, just like my friend here and my past self, or I'm speaking to my future self as well, because we all forget. I may forget what I'm even saying right now. So I'm speaking to my future self. If I'm going through imposter syndrome, come watch this video, remember these words, and know that you are more than any random feeling, any random illness, any random thought that comes to cripple you. And there are actually ways within which that you can overcome anything. And it all starts with a decision to recognize what you're going through, and then access the support and apply the systems that can help you to smoothly navigate any violent waters. Thank you.